They say some places are best left forgotten, their secrets buried with the bones of those who kept them. Etheria was one such place, a village shrouded in a perpetual mist as if the very air sought to conceal the rot within. The silence there wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, suffocating, punctuated only by the dry, rattling coughs of the afflicted. It was this affliction, the whispering blight, that had drawn the young scholar Kalen to this forsaken hamlet. He arrived with a satchel of books and a head full of theories, but the welcome he received was as cold and unwelcoming as the mist itself. Villagers, their faces gaunt and their eyes hollow, met his gaze with a silent hostility, turning away as if his very presence was an intrusion upon their shared misery. Kalen's academic curiosity soon gave way to a creeping dread. The blight was unlike any disease he had studied. It didn't just weaken the body. It seemed to hollow out the soul, leaving behind empty husks that moved with a listless, haunted grace. He sought answers from the village elder, a man whose age was impossible to guess, his face a roadmap of ancient sorrows. "This is not a place for outsiders," the elder rasped, his voice thin as a whisper. "Leave before the quiet takes you too." But Kalen couldn't leave. He was drawn to the mystery and to the elder's own strange behavior. Each evening he watched the old man perform a mournful ritual before a small unmarked grave at the edge of the village, a private grief that felt intrinsically linked to the collective suffering. Driven by this observation, Kalen delved into the village's dusty archives where he unearthed fragmented texts. They spoke of a forbidden pact, a desperate bargain for unnatural longevity, sealed with a foundational sacrifice, a price too terrible to name. The fragments led him to the heart of the village, to an ancient gnarled tree whose roots ran like dark veins through the earth. There, hidden beneath a weathered stone, he found it, a hidden chamber cold and suffocating with an ancient power. Runes glowing with a faint, sickly light were carved into the stone floor, forming a cage. And within that cage writhed a being of pure shadow, a formless entity that seemed to drink the very light from the air. As Kalen stared in horrified fascination, the elder appeared behind him, his silhouette stark against the chamber's entrance. The confession tumbled from the old man's lips, a torrent of guilt held back for centuries. It was he who had summoned the entity. Desperate to save his people from a famine long ago, he had made a pact, and the price was his own daughter, Lyra. He had sacrificed her to bind the entity, to grant his village an unnaturally long life. The blight, he explained, was the tithe, the entity's periodic feeding to sustain the pact. For a fleeting moment, the spectral image of a young girl, her face pale with sorrow, shimmered in the air beside the old man. Kalen, horrified by the revelation and blinded by a scholar's arrogance, saw only a monstrous injustice. He believed he was breaking a curse, freeing the villagers from their grim bargain. With a determined cry, he brought a heavy stone crashing down upon the binding runes. The sigil shattered and a soundless, unholy scream echoed not in the air but in his mind. The shadow entity erupted from its prison, a maelstrom of darkness that swept through the chamber and into the village above. It was a harvest of souls. One by one, the villagers collapsed, their life force siphoned away in an instant. The entity consumed the elder last. As the darkness took him, his face, etched with terror, softened into something like release as he saw a final, fleeting vision of his daughter reaching for him. Kalen was the last. He felt an unspeakable cold, a hollowing emptiness as the shadow descended. His journal fell from his grasp, landing open on the damp earth. The final shot is of the book, the last entry scrawled in a panicked hand. Some secrets are not meant to be explored.